Hello there. Today I will be sharing thoughts on the Edgic for this 5th episode of Survivor Season 41. If you don't know what the Edgic is, I will link a great article from Inside Survivor in the description explaining it all. I will go through each player and give my thoughts on their edit from episode 5, winning chances, and whether I consider them a contender to win. Visibilities are determined by how much they are on screen, how many confessionals they have, and if they receive any SPV. Genie was our player voted out this week, as she just misses out on the merge. Genie this week mostly gave narration about finding the idol, and some thoughts on the vote, but nothing that was very complex. Genie's rating this week is a middle of the road, ending the season being middle of the road overall. Danny had some focus this week, giving us his thoughts on whether the tribe should throw the immunity challenge once again. He also talked about his plans to work with Naseer, and the fact that he was afraid of so many women leaving, giving the women more numbers at the merge. There is some complexity here, but not enough for a complex personality rating, so Danny receives a middle-of-the-road rating this week, and is essentially eliminated from winning contention. Deshawn had very little this episode, a step down from last week. He had a line about trying to throw the challenge, something that Naseer refused and was unwilling to do. He received no confessionals this week, leading to very little to remember from Deshawn here. He has had solid content this season, so a quiet episode here isn't the worst, but Deshawn would need more at this point to win in my eyes. Deshawn receives an under-the-radar rating this week, with middling chances to win. Erika was near invisible this week, following up her bigger episode from last week. Erika was unfortunately given basically nothing, only one quick comment to Sydney, and no confessionals. Erika has had a very quiet season, and if she were to win she would receive more content than the little she has in my opinion. Erika receives an under-the-radar rating this week, and is essentially eliminated from winning contention. Evvie had another quiet episode this week, continuing their streak of quiet episodes, starting from episode 3. Evvie told us that they were making Xander believe that they were close, but in reality being close to the power trio on the Yace tribe. Evvie was doubted by Tiffany about their relationship with Xander, and was shown to be wrong that Tiffany and Liana did not know about the immunity idol. At this point in the season, Evvie lacks personal content, and has basically fallen off in screen time compared to her edit in the first 2 episodes, which is a big knock against her winning chances. If Evvie doesn't receive better content soon, I would consider them to have no chances to win. Evvie receives a middle-of-the-road rating this week. Heather had nothing in this episode, so there isn't much to talk about here. While she had a positive episode last week, she follows it up by not appearing on the episode this week. At this point, I would expect the winner to have more screen time and personal content than Heather has received. Heather receives an invisible rating this week, and is essentially eliminated from winning contention. Liana had a big edit this episode, following up a quieter episode from last week. She was shown to find out about Xander's advantages while both Xander and Evvie thought she had no idea about them. She also went to Advantage Island with Shan, where she seems to have built a powerful connection that could see lasting implications for the season. Liana had positive scenes with Shan on the mountain, and also tells us that her strategy has changed knowing now that she is working with Shan. Liana receives a complex personality positive rating this week, with one of the highest chances to win of the cast. Naseer had a solid episode this week, following up a quiet episode from last week. We hear Naseer's thoughts about throwing a challenge, something he refuses to do, and has his opinion respected by Danny and Deshawn. He is happy to be included in the tribe's conversations, which is a good sign for his game. He also found the immunity idol and activated it, with the resulting screen time giving him a positive tone this week. Naseer receives a middle-of-the-road positive rating this week, with low chances to win, but Naseer has an unpredictable edit so far so time will tell with him. Ricard had a large edit this week, his biggest since the premiere. In this episode, he talks about his plans to vote Genie out, and how he plans to do that. He also has the idea of taking the idol without Genie knowing, and comes up with the plan to activate the idol without Genie figuring out about it. He also promises Shan to give her advantage back to her, something he refuses to do later, which we see narrated by Shan, which ultimately makes him look like he is in the wrong in my opinion. This was a decent week for Ricard, but I feel like we need to learn more about his strategy and his personal content before I consider him to be a top contender. Ricard receives a middle-of-the-road rating this week, and is on the higher end of chances to win. Shan follows up her massive edit from last week with an even bigger edit this week. She tells us her thoughts about the immunity idol, and how she does not want Genie to have it. While Ricard is the one who comes up with the plan to deceive Genie about the idol being active, it is Shan who we hear from the most regarding the idol. Shan goes to the Advantage Island this week with Liana, and here we get beautiful personal content from her, which gives her very positive tone. She also tells us about her strategy moving forward with Liana, and how she considers it to be an important relationship in the future. Shan is looking like the best chance to win at this point, but her huge amount of screen time worries me, as it is reaching unprecedented territory for a winner. Shan receives a complex personality positive rating this week, with the highest chance to win despite my reservations. Sydney had a small amount of screen time this week. She told us about her fishing, and how she considers herself to be a mermaid, all while giving herself positivity for it. She doesn't receive much else this week, and doesn't receive SPV from anyone, making her very one-note. She receives an over-the-top rating this week, with middling chances to win. Tiffany this week received good focus on the Yace tribe. She gives us her thoughts on the relationship between Evvie and Xander, and believes it is closer than Evvie is letting on. Tiffany is right that there is a relationship there, but is wrong in assuming that Evvie is against her. Tiffany also suggests going through Xander's bag, which allows her to know that Xander is going to lie to her about finding the idol. She tells us that she knows when people are lying, and Xander seems to trust her by telling her about the idol. Overall, Tiffany is a middle-of-the-road rating this week, with high chances to win. Xander receives solid content this week, an increase in content from previous weeks. He was shown to be in the wrong multiple times this week by not believing Tiffany and Liana knew about his advantages, and also lying to Tiffany about finding the idol on that same day, which paints him in a bad light this episode. Xander receives a middle-of-the-road negative this episode, with low chances to win. My contenders this week are Shan, Tiffany, and Liana. At this point, Shan is the highest chance to win in my eyes, but Tiffany and Liana still have solid chances to win. Those are my thoughts on the Edgic this week, and I look forward to seeing how the edit progresses with the cast this season. Thanks for watching.